Hello, everyone, and I want to talk about the current system of organs and what I think we're experiencing versus what may be thought. So currently, it's and you'll see this on Reddit and a bunch of places. Like, did GGG nerf the quality of boss organs? Just curious. The early organs that dropped from bosses had usually 4+ affixes, but lately I've been getting only 1 or 2 affix boss organs. Was I just lucky before? So this presupposes some knowledge about how the organs work, and we don't know how they work, which is really the key factor here. So I'm going to take these 2 organs out, and I'm going to make a demonstrate. Actually, let's take all 3 lungs out. And I'm going to make a demonstration in Tane's laboratory to kind of tell you and walk you through from the designer's standpoint.
Legacy? Nothing.
Okay, Tane, calm down. There we go. Now that Tane stopped talking, we can go on to this. So, we have this one, which drops rare armor. Now notice the quant, rarity, and chance for extra reward, all these, so it's 8, 80, 20, 45. 8, 80, 20, 45. 8, 80, 20, 45. Now, very importantly, those are all the same, things applied. This one is an item level 82. This is an item level 81. This has drops additional rare armor. This has drops additional rare armor. And this has drops additional rare armor. The difference is, this one has 4 affixes, including the rare armor. So you get 3 extra things on top of the rare armor, seemingly. This one has 2. And is a higher item level. So, what I think is going on is that this, if this was veiled armor instead of rare armor on these, this would be the best one if you're looking for veiled armor. Now, I want to tell you why I think that's true. I have anecdotal evidence, but I'll just tell you from the designer standpoint why you would make it this way. So, if we look at how any of this stuff works, we know there's quants, we know, right here, but this is also a second thing of quantity. It's just a dice roll on, again, after all the other stuff. And the other thing is, we don't know if this is the truth, because like I just showed, this is item level 82, item level 81, but and these aren't the same thing. This is Howl, this is Blood Lacerate, and this is Caustic Breath. It's 3 different mods for what they use. They drop different things entirely, and one of them's a different item level, but they say the same fucking thing. That's curious, because that means there's very likely something going on in the background that we can't see. Some deception so that they can preserve the drop rate between all of these, so that the reward on average is equal no matter which organ you're using. So, what do I mean by that in this case? So, if this was veiled armor and you're looking for veiled armor on these lungs, if you're a player and the system works the way I'm hoping it does, this one would have... Actually, let's stay down in Tane's laboratory. Why am I coming up here? This one would have, 1 chance if... Actually, let's presuppose nothing is happening first, and see where that leads us, and then I'll go the other way around. So if it was nothing happens extra, this is a 5% chance for an extra reward on 1 mod. So it will only check it once. And then after it's checked it once, discards it if it hasn't gotten the 5% chance. This one, actually let's do the 82. This one, it'll check it 3 times for the 5% extra reward, and then discard it. This one, it'll check it 4 times for the extra reward, and then discard it. Which would make this one the most powerful if there isn't anything going on that's special. And that would be, like, that's super obvious, right? Because, like, instead of buying one lottery ticket, I've bought 4 lottery tickets. And yeah, like, if we're talking literally like the lottery, 1 lottery ticket versus 4 lottery tickets is fucking nothing. But 4 is still greater than 1. You still have a bigger chance on this one than you do on this one. So it would then make it so that this system would favor just the most mods. And so if you had some lung that had 20 mods on it, that 5% chance now has 20 times to hit, rather than just 1. So the thought then is there have to be other things going on. So one thing could be that when you're looking at this 5% chance, it could be divided by the number of mods, or just be at least proportional to the number of mods, because otherwise it might be too rewarding to run this lung over the other lung, which just has 1 mod. And if you're looking for a system that has, consistent levels of rewards, and not just like, this one's shit, this one's like really, really good, and it's like completely out of the player's control, and they, and then they'll see like 1 affix lungs and see like, oh, well, it's shit now. If you want to prevent that, you make some systems, or at least one system, so that you mitigate that. This could be that this chance for extra reward is proportional in like the background that we can't see, where the actual rolling of the loot is happening. That is actually going, hey, this has 4 mods on it, so skew that 5% to a lower number so that it's not too rewarding in comparison to this one. This one doesn't get anything affecting it. Maybe it gets a positive, in fact, because it's only 1. Right? And maybe like the sweet spot is 2, where it has like nothing. 1 has a positive, and 3 has, where it starts getting negative, and 4 it's even more negative, 5 even more negative, and so on and so forth. Who knows, right? We don't have the access to that information, and so we can only gather it from the data we acquire by running literally tens of thousands of these. They have that data, they know, but they're not going to tell us because GGG respects our intelligence and just says, hey, no, you can figure this out. We know you can, because you figured out way more complicated stuff in the past, which is one of the things I really like about grinding gear games. So, from the designer's standpoint, the other way you could make this have a better chance of giving you what you might want than this, and in fact actually make it so that the player can look at this one versus this one, and let's say if it was the veiled armor instead of rare armor, they might go for this one instead because it only has 1 mod, if it also could affect quantity and quality negatively by having more mods. So this could have, let's just say it's 100%, right? And then for each mod it rolls on it, it's just minus 10% quant and quality. Each one. Right? So there's more stuff dropping, but that's only because there's more mods. The actual quantity and quality on the item, it's on like the hidden that we can't see on this lung, could then be minus 40%, whereas this one is only minus 10%. See how that's starting to work out? Because then, like, all these multipliers, this would multiply really heavily with this more item quantity, right? So if this has 90% quantity, or just like if it's 100% on one mod and then less on others by 10% for each one after. So maybe it starts out at base 110%, and then it's one mod 100%, two mods 90, 3, 80, so on and so forth. This means that this more item quantity that you see right here would directly impact that massively, because 20% more of 100% is the 120%. But in this case, we can do quick math and say, like, okay, so this is 4 mods, so all I have to do is pull up a calculator and go, okay, so it'd be 60, right? And this is a 20% quantity, so 1.2, and it's actually 72 quantity. This one's 100, in this theoretical system, this could be 120 quant, this one's 72. And you may start to see that pattern emerging now. This one, for the one thing it's giving you, could be super rewarding because there's no real drawbacks to it. This one is less rewarding for specifics, but it is still quite rewarding because it's dropping more stuff, right? So that quantity of 72 is applied to the rare armor, but also essences and a weapon and rare jewelry. So that proportional response to what's on this item, what's on this lung, then makes sense. And so this enables the player, once they unlock that understanding, if this is true, once they unlock that understanding, they then can go, I want veiled armor. This is, say, giving me veiled armor. This is what I want, because this one says veiled armor on just one affix. This one says it on 4. So this will give me more items because there's way more quantity involved. And the more multiplier of quantity I have across all of these organs, with only few affixes, the even better chance on every single one of those that I get the thing I'm looking for on each organ. And so if all of them were just one thing of veiled armor on all of them, and it gave me a fair amount of quantity, they're gonna get multiplied to the fucking moon. Whereas if it was they all have veiled armor and 4 other mods, suddenly you're getting a bunch of other stuff and then 6 veiled items instead of possibly something 11 veiled items. Right? See how that plays? Because target farming is something you want to allow your player to do. They have the organs, so why not just give them the control of the organs, right? And GGG is kind of notorious for letting us fuck ourselves over when we just do things fast and loose. So I genuinely think this is the system. And so the anecdotal evidence, now that I've presented all that and spoken for 13 minutes and probably made you want to leave, is that I have run some white maps just for completion bonus, right? So I'll go back to my hideout now. I've run some white maps for completion bonus, and so one of them, I had all of them rewarding currency. Every single one of them rewarding currency. So logically you'd think, oh, it has a bunch of quant on it. It's a white map that's just been upgraded to a rare, so it's not really that much in the grand scheme, but there's a bunch of chances for currency. It dropped 1.5 chaos worth of currency. Nothing, right? I then go on to another map, same tier, no sextants or anything. It's also another blue map. It has no quant on it because it's just a magic, right? The variance isn't big there when there's only 2 mods. and nothing special is happening except all of the organs, except for one, have a modifier. Or don't have a modifier except for one. So the boss has a modifier, and like all the other ones that are like the top ones have no modifiers. They don't drop anything extra. They don't have an explicit drop. They don't say drops a map item or drops a unique 6-link or, drops, whatever. They have none of that. And so it's just currency shards on the boss. And I'm like, it's a fucking white map. I'm gonna get, at best, some alchemy shards. Kill it. Fucking exalt shards drop, which is like, whoa, what the hell is happening? That's not normal. That's, rather rare. So, that primed me for the thought of, wait, shit, maybe that's the intended effect. Maybe that's what they want us to do, is say, I want this, and then tailor the Metamorph around it. Slow down a little bit, think about the problem, and then do something, rather than just click everything on the left side and just go, fuck it. And maybe, again, even for those people who have slowed down and looked at it, then go, hey, think a little bit more. Maybe there's something going on that you don't see yet. And I think that's the kind of system we're working under, where there's something that we haven't seen yet, which might be what I'm describing, where, yeah, this eye, which drops rare currency and rare jewelry, may give me more jewelry and currency than an eye that is the same, but has 5 mods, and those other 3 mods just do whatever. So, they're polluting the actual mods that I want. And I think that would be a really cool system. And it would also make things like it drops additional currency items twice. Something of an oddity to think about, because now if it's like how I talked about earlier, where it's like it starts at 110 quant, and then it's a minus 10 quants for each one, going down. That means that actually 2 things of currency items is worse than 1 thing of currency items, which is rather clever. Because you're thinking, oh, well, it's sure more currency guaranteed, but the bonus chance to get the actual high payout is lower. And the amount overall you could get is also lower. But you are guaranteed, right? So it's guaranteed to give you these things it's saying it's going to give you. Whereas if it was just 1 currency items, yeah, there's more of a gamble there. You could get a lot more, or maybe the dice roll doesn't favor you and you get less. See how that, now that's some complexity. That's something to think about. That's something to actually then examine all these organs and think about, oh, well, maybe I want to run, this one, or, this one. Maybe I need essences, some of the higher tier essence crafting for some reason. Or instead of running this one, which has unique jewelry, currency, rare armor, catalysts, rare weapons, I'm just like, no. I wanted the weapons and the currency. Just give me the weapons and the currency. Maybe that legitimately does play into how much we get. GGG is known for doing these kinds of things where there is way more complexity at the back end than it looks like it actually has. So I would not be surprised that they haven't told us, hey, there's more complexity, because they never tell us, with very rare exceptions. And so they just leave it to us to figure out, hey, run this one, not this one. Because there's some invisible hand toying with this to make sure that, yeah, you do get the unique jewelry, you do get the catalysts, you do get the rare armor, and the rare weapons, and the currency. But you're going to get less of all that stuff because it's a whole bunch of it compared to 2 things where you can get a whole lot more dropping on just those 2 things. That's my thoughts. I, again, do not have the organs to test this. I'm also not as much of a mapping aficionado to be able to speed farm through and actually get, like, thousands of organs and then pull a slippery gem and, you know, say, like, hey, here's the loot from 10,000 burial maps, and except, like, this time, you know, 10,000 metamorphs or something like that. I'm not that. I am not that good. If I did that, it'd be the fucking end of the league, and I would have fucking failed my classes. So, not gonna happen, I don't think, for me. But the idea, yeah, that is what I'm gonna throw out there. So, I hope you're all having a happy holidays. If you're watching this in the next decade, hello from 2019. It has been hell. But at least Path of Exile is fun. Hopefully 2020 isn't hell too. Anyway, I hope you all have a good one. I know I'm having a good one right now. Bye-bye.